So finally, I've cracked how Doctor Doom, despite not being shown in the Fantastic Four movie, is still going to become Mr. Fantastic's biggest archnemesis. Not just that, how the Fantastic Four team will defeat Galactus, and I'll also tell you the real purpose of Galactus. And if you're thinking he just consumes planets for cosmic balance, no, my friend, you're mistaken. He does consume, yes, but for an entirely different reason. Watch the full video to understand. First, let me clarify that this video is purely based on theories. I'm not diving deep into every detail, except for one specific moment. The scene where Mr. Fantastic is holding a staff. While everyone was busy appreciating how cool and powerful it looked as a representation of his abilities, no one seemed to point out how familiar that staff actually looks. If you remember, we've seen a similar staff in Thor: The Dark World, where Jane Foster and her team created it to teleport Malekith's ship and his soldiers from Earth to another realm or planet. So what if this staff Mr. Fantastic is holding serves the same purpose? We've already seen that he's working on teleportation technology. Now, why were they working on teleportation in the first place? Well, when they traveled to space, they got trapped there, and due to a cosmic wind, they ended up getting powers. Naturally, they would want to avoid such a situation again. So the fastest and safest method of space travel, teleportation, became their focus. But then Galactus arrives, and with his arrival, the urgency increases. Now, they're thinking of relocating people somewhere else to save them. The teleportation device they were working on is no longer just about saving stranded space explorers. It's about protecting people on Earth from Galactus. So they modify the device and plan to send Galactus elsewhere. Technically, Galactus is powerful enough to return from anywhere. But the reason he stays in one place, I've already explained this well in my video about the Void's powers. For those who've seen it, great. For those who haven't, let me explain. Galactus feeds on antimatter, which is found abundantly in the negative zone. In fact, in Avengers Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers send Galactus to the negative zone, and he never returns, because everything he needs is already there. So the same thing could happen here. The Fantastic Four might use the device to locate a place full of antimatter and send Galactus there. But in the process, they might end up going with him and get trapped in the negative zone. And this negative zone could be the very power source of the Void. When Bob confronts the Void and turns into Sentry, he will retrieve those killed or turned into shadows from the negative zone. Seeing people traveling from the negative zone, Reed might trace the signal or follow the same method to return to the main Earth. This could be a way to connect the Fantastic Four to the Thunderbolts and bring them into the MCU. But if we take it even further, this theory gets really wild, and I love it. This connects directly to Doomsday. So here's the real deal. Everyone is assuming that the phrase first step in the Fantastic Four is referring to Franklin Richards' first step because it's commonly associated with children. But what if this is the first Earth to fall victim to an incursion? And what if that incursion is triggered deliberately? And the one who triggers it is none other than Doctor Doom. Not from this universe, but from another one. He does this because in this universe, there is no Doctor Doom to rival Reed. And since this universe under Reed's leadership is evolving beautifully, Doom wants to destroy it. This triggers the incursion, potentially wiping out all universes in the multiverse, so that he can finally create Battleworld. To trigger this whole chain of events, Doctor Doom sends Galactus into this universe. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but if you've read the Time Runs Out storyline from the comics, even there, Galactus was destroying other universes to protect his own. So why wouldn't he do the same thing here? Also, Galactus doesn't just devour planets. He can operate on a universal level too. To explain this further, I want to talk a bit about why Galactus feeds on planets. Why not entire universes? There have been moments in Marvel when his hunger was so intense that he didn't just absorb planets or star systems. He consumed entire realities. And the most interesting part is he's not a planet eater. He's a cosmic necessity. His job is to maintain balance within the multiverse, even if it means devouring planets or entire universes. And this isn't just a theory. There's solid proof of it in the comics. In What If Volume 2, Issue 70, Galactus literally consumed an entire universe. Stars, planets, cosmic entities. All were devoured by his hunger. Of course, it was an alternate reality, but it clearly shows how far Galactus can go if his hunger isn't controlled. Then there's Earth X Trilogy, where Galactus's true purpose is revealed. He destroys planets infected by the Celestials' planet eggs. And when that infection spreads beyond a planet to an entire reality, Galactus's solution is to purify the whole universe. This doesn't make him a villain. It gives him the role of a cosmic immune system. Just like white blood cells in a human body, Galactus operates within the multiverse to maintain its health. Another strong reference comes from Ultimates Volume 2, where Galactus becomes the Lifebringer. He shifts from destruction to creation. But when eternity, the embodiment of the multiverse, is in pain, Galactus understands it and steps in. There's a powerful line there. I was never just a devourer of worlds. I was the counterforce to uncontrolled growth. That means he always existed to maintain balance. When too much life spreads and entropy is disrupted, Galactus reverts to his former role. He destroys, so something new can be born. If you think of it scientifically, the theory becomes even more solid. In the Marvel multiverse, life equals low entropy. If life becomes unlimited, balance collapses. It's the character's responsibility to maintain that entropy. When planets are no longer enough, Galactus's hunger shifts toward timelines, realities, and entire universes. This isn't ego, it's a function. That's how he's designed. And when a universe becomes infected, whether by Celestials, the Cancerverse, or zombies, Galactus steps in to cleanse it, to destroy it, so the rest of the multiverse can survive. Seen from this angle, Galactus is a kind of multiversal doctor who knows when to save the patient and when to pull the plug, all for the greater good. Now think about how relevant this could be for the MCU. Incursions are already happening, and the multiverse is on the brink of collapse. Imagine an entity arrives and says, "Your universe is no longer fit to survive, so I've come to end it, so that other timelines can live." In that case, Galactus doesn't just become a big villain. He becomes a terrifying truth. A reminder that not everything in the universe is eternal. Some things must die so that something new can be born. But in this scenario, I believe Galactus is being manipulated by Dr. Doom. Doom is working from the shadows to create imbalance in the multiverse. And Loki, who's been keeping watch over all universes, will find this chaos too much to handle. Taking advantage of this, Doom will sideline Loki, something we'll likely see in Avengers Doomsday. In fact, that movie might reveal Dr. Doom's full story. Now, just imagine, if Mr. Fantastic manages to trap Galactus in the negative zone using his device and saves the universe, or Earth, in the process, then he directly challenges our DJ's Dr. Doom. But what if the universe Mr. Fantastic belongs to gets destroyed? Then, with a deep sense of vengeance, he and the Fantastic Four will go after Dr. Doom, because Galactus was merely a tool. The real arrow was fired by Doom, something Mr. Fantastic will eventually figure out. Somehow, Mr. Fantastic must be tied to Avengers Doomsday. Either his universe is destroyed in an incursion or during these events. Or, as I said, while pushing Galactus into the negative zone, the Fantastic Four gets pulled in with him. And, through the negative zone, they reach the main Earth, brought back by Sentry, who rescues them from the negative zone where the Void had sent them. Well, these are wild stories, but they're just as likely to be true as they are to be false. So until proven wrong, it stays a 50-50 theory. That's what I think. Now tell me what you think. How many of these ideas do you agree with, and how many do you not? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, make sure you've hit the bell icon. If you have, then great. And if not, go ahead and press it now.